Namaskar. Myself Dr. Deepti Bish, Professor, Department of Chikitsa, Faculty of Ayurveda Sciences, Jyoti Vidyapeeth, Women's University, Jaipur. In today's session for class 4 year BMS, I am going to discuss management of bacterial fevers. In this topic, I am going to take three diseases: plague, leptospirosis, and anthrax. All the three are bacterial infectious disease. So let's start with plague. As all of you know, plague is an infectious disease caused by bacteria Yersinia pestis. It is a zoonotic bacteria usually found in small mammals and their fleas. It is transmitted between animals and humans by bite of infected fleas, direct contact, inhalation, and rarely ingestion of infective material. So it can be a very serious disease in people with a case fatality ratio of 30% to 60%. Historically, plague was responsible for the widespread pandemics with high mortality, and it was also known as Black Death, causing an estimated 50 million deaths at that time in Asia and Africa. Now, types of plague. This is found in three forms of infections depending on the route of infection. These are bubonic, septicemic, and pneumonic plague. Bubonic plague is the most common form of plague and is caused by the bite of an infected flea. Plague bacillus, that is Yersinia pestis, enters at the bite and travels through the lymphatic system to the nearest lymph node where it replicates itself. The lymph node is then become inflamed, tense, and painful and is called bubo. At advanced stage of the infection, the inflamed lymph node can turn into suppurating open sores. There is no entering human transmission of bubonic plague. Second type is septicemic plague. It occurs when infection spreads through the bloodstream. Septicemic plague may result from flea bite and from direct contact with infective materials through cracks in the skin. Advanced stages of bubonic form of plague will also lend to direct spread of Y. pestis in the blood. Now, third form of infection, that is pneumonic plague or lung-based plague, is the most virulent and least common form of plague. Typically, the pneumonic form is caused by spread to the lungs from advanced bubonic plague. However, a person with secondary pneumonic plague may form aerosolized infective droplets and transmit plague via droplets to other humans. Untreated pneumonic plague has a case fatality ratio close to 100%. So these were the three forms of infection. Now, in short, we will discuss the mode of transmission. Transmission to an uninfected individual is possibly by any of the following means, that is droplet contact, that is through coughing, sneezing on another person, direct personal contact like touching an infected person, including sexual contact. Then third is indirect contact, which occurs usually by touching soil contamination or a contaminated surface. Then there is airborne transmission if microorganisms remain in the air for long periods. Fecal transmission is also there. Oral transmission can be present usually from contaminated food or water sources. Vector-borne transmission is carried by insects or other animals. So now the clinical features. Infected person with the plague will usually develop flu-like symptoms 2 to 6 days after infection. So there are other symptoms that can distinguish between three forms of the plague. So the symptoms of bubonic plague are usually fever, body aches, and formation of buboes. There may be seizures, general weakness, headache, and painful swollen lymph nodes, which I have told before, and these appears usually in groin, armpit, neck, or site of the insect bite or scratch. Second one is septicemic plague. The symptoms are usually abdominal pain, vomiting, diarrhea, fever with chill, extreme weakness, bleeding, shock, skin turning black, and these symptoms usually start within 2 to 7 days after exposure. But septicemic plague can lead to death before symptoms even appear. The third type of plague, that is pneumonic plague, in this case, symptoms may appear as quickly as 1 day after the exposure to bacteria, and symptoms are trouble breathing, chest pain, cough, fever, headache, overall weakness, and bloody sputum. That is, saliva and mucus or pus from the lungs may be seen. Now the investigations. Investigations are usually done by culturing the organism from blood, sputum, or bubo aspirate. For rapid diagnosis, Gram Wesson stains are applied, and Y. pestis is seen as bipolar staining Coccobacilli, sometimes referred to as having a satiable appearance. Diagnosis may be confirmed by seroconversion or a single high titer of F1 antibodies in serum. DNA detection by PCR test is under evaluation. Now the management. Immediate treatment is done with IV fluid, and supportive treatment is advised, and streptomycin 1 gram 12 hourly or gentamicin 1 milligram per kg body weight 8 hourly is the drug of choice. Tetracycline in the dose of 500 mg 6 hourly, chloramphenicol 12.5 mg per kg body weight 6 hourly are alternatives. Treatment may also be needed for acute circulatory failure, DIC, and hypoxia. Patients should be isolated for 48 hours. Carriers should wear protective clothing. For inadvertent exposure, there should be prompt prophylactic treatment with doxycycline. Fluoroquinolones like ciprofloxacin and levofloxacin are also effective. Ventilator support is needed in cases of troublesome breathing, as in pneumonic plague infection, and isolation is very important, and care should be done by trained paramedical staff with proper protective equipment. So this was the management of plague. Now the next disease is leptospirosis, which is again caused by bacteria Leptospira. Transmission is usually uh, done with wild or domestic animals. It is uh, a bacterial infection, as you know. There are 13 different genetic types of Leptospira, which may cause disease in humans, transmitted by both wild and domestic animals. Most common animals that spread the disease are rodents. It is often transmitted by animal urine or by water or soil containing animal urine coming into contact with breaks in the skin, eyes, mouth, or nose. In developing world, disease most commonly occurs in farmers and poor people who live in cities. In developed world, it is most commonly occurs in those who are involved in outdoor activities in warm or wet areas. So it can enter human host through intact skin or mucous membrane, but the entry is facilitated by cuts and abrasions. Prolonged immersion in contaminated water will also favor invasion, as the spirochetes can survive in water for months. So people who are at higher risk of leptospirosis include farmers, veterinarians, freshwater fishermen, butchers, people who engage in water sports like swimming, rafting, people who bath in freshwater lakes, rivers, canals, rodent control workers, sewer workers, miners, etc. Now, clinical features. After a relatively brief bacteremia, invading organisms are distributed throughout the body, mainly in kidneys, liver, meninges, and brain. Clinical syndromes which are seen are of four types. First one is bacteremic leptospirosis. Second is ecteric leptospirosis. Third is aseptic meningitis. And fourth one is pulmonary syndrome. So, bacteremic leptospirosis is usually uh, appears with symptoms like fever, muscle pain, diarrhea, vomiting, tenderness, weakness, and sometimes conjunctival congestion. Aseptic meningitis is very different to distinguish from viral meningitis, and here the symptoms are usually neck rigidity, fever with chill as seen in viral meningitis. So investigations like neutrophil leukocytosis, abnormal LFTs, and presence of albumin and cast in urine is of differential diagnosis. Third, that is icteric leptospirosis, also known as Wells disease, is characterized by symptoms like fever, hemorrhage, jaundice, renal impairment, conjunctiva, hyperemia, epistaxis may be there, hematemesis, melena, or bleeding into the pleural, pericardial, or subarachnoid spaces. Investigations required here are thrombocytopenia, presence of albumin, blood cast in the urine. The last clinical syndrome characterized by pulmonary syndrome is seen as hemoptysis, patchy lung infiltrates on chest X-ray, and respiratory failure. Total bilateral lung consolidation and ARDS with multi-organ dysfunction may develop with high motility. Now the treatment. Treatment is basically consists of general care as most infections are self-limiting. Supportive management including transfusion of blood and platelets along with dialysis. Oral diclocycline or IV penicillin is effective but may not prevent renal failure. IV ciprofloxacin is an effective alternative. If uveitis is present, then combination of systemic antibiotics with local corticosteroids is advised. Prophylactic doxycycline 200 mg weekly can prevent the infection. So the person should be given doxycycline 200 mg weekly to protect themselves from this kind of infection. Now, the last disease of anthrax, which is caused by spore-forming bacteria, that is Bacillus anthracis, and mainly it affects animals. Bacterial spores can enter human body through ingestion, inhalation, or skin cuts. Risk factors again are the persons who are working with anthrax in laboratory, persons working with livestock as a veterinarian, or persons handling animal skins from areas with high risk of anthrax, military on duty in an area that carries a risk of anthrax exposure. So these are high risk groups. Clinical features is basically consist of four parameters. First one is cutaneous, second is GIT related, third is pulmonary, and fourth is injection anthrax. In cutaneous type of anthrax, a raised itchy bump resembling an insect bite that quickly develops into a painless sore with a black center is seen. Swelling in sore and nearby lymph gets is usually seen. In GIT-related form of anthrax, there are symptoms like nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, headache, loss of appetite, fever, severe weakness. There may be diarrhea mixed with blood, etc. In pulmonary type of anthrax, which develops during breath or due to inhalation of spores, it is most deadly way to contract the disease. So flu-like symptoms such as sore throat, mild fever, fatigue and muscle aches is usually seen with mild chest discomfort and shortness of breath. There may be cough mixed with blood, painful swallowing, and condition of shock or meningitis can occur if treatment is not provided on time. Last one is injection type of anthrax. This is most recently identified route of anthrax infection contracted through injecting illegal drugs and has been reported only in Europe so far. Initial symptoms are redness at the area of injection, swelling, which is significant. There may be shock, multiple organ failure, and meningitis. So the complications of anthrax is inflammation of the membrane and fluid covering the brain and spinal cord, leading to massive bleeding, that is hemorrhagic meningitis and death. Now diagnosis is done through blood tests, skin tests, stool samples, spinal tap, chest x-ray, CT scan and endoscopy. Management is done with uh, various parameters, and treatment is most effective when started as soon as possible. So standard treatment for anthrax is 60-day course of an antibiotic such as ciprofloxacin or doxycycline or other broad spectrum antibiotics. Aggressive fluid resuscitation and the addition of an aminoglycoside may improve the outlook. Skin lesions, if present, are radially curable with early antibiotic therapy. Prophylaxis with ciprofloxacin is recommended for anyone at high risk of exposure to biological warfare. Isolation and quarantine of patients is usually required. Plenty of fluid and rich source of vitamins and mineral supplement is also given. Pulmonary anthrax, which is dangerous, in this early antibiotic prophylaxis treatment is crucial to prevent the possible death. So this was all about the three bacterial diseases. In next lecture, we will study some another infectious disease. Till then, goodbye. Have a nice day.